Are you tired of yelling? Let's talk about the Parenting Without Yelling book. It is going to help you. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education. And in this video, we are talking about the book, the one book. Some people call it the Bible of parenting, the book that you probably will wonder how you ever lived without. In this video, we're going to talk about what parents should look for in good parenting in order to create lasting behavioral and heart change instead of just short-term compliance. And we're going to talk about key pieces to a book you're not going to want to miss. Why do people yell? Because it gets people's attention? That's one reason that people yell. What's another reason that people yell? Sometimes they feel like they have to be louder than everybody else. Again, that's back to getting people's attention. Sometimes people think that they have to show power. Well, it's a false kind of power. Everybody knows that. Especially once a child gets a little bit older, they recognize, I'm just being manipulated here. Sometimes people want to do things faster, so they think that yelling will make things happen faster. But is it really faster when you have all of that emotional and relationship cleanup to do afterward? Because when you yell, they step back just a little bit in their hearts, or sometimes even with their bodies. They suddenly go, wait, can I trust that person? They're yelling at me. They're not understanding, they're emotionally venting at me, or they're power struggling with me. They don't know how to solve a problem. Can I trust them? So the same thing happens with pets, just so you know. If you start to seem unsure to the pet, they won't listen to you. They won't follow what you say to do because they're not sure they can trust. When it comes to little tiny children and pets, oftentimes the pets don't trust little tiny children because they know that those children don't have any structure to hold on to, and they can feel it. Our children are no different with us, and when we start yelling, we feel like an out of control animal, and they know it. Not only does it set a bad example for our children, but it actually makes us feel defeated and maybe a little even ashamed of ourselves because of what we've done. We don't want to behave that way, so we shouldn't then. We should have other skills. Usually people choose to yell mostly because they just lack the skill. They don't know what they don't know, and good parenting skills aren't necessarily being handed down. Nowadays, the world is so emotionally reactive that that's what's getting passed along is emotional reactivity, which leads to widespread emotional bondage. So if you find yourself sometimes in emotional bondage, then I absolutely have the resources for you. So before I talk about the book that you are not going to want to miss, I want to just mention what makes really great parenting interactions. So let's say you have to correct your children. It's so much better to correct your children after you've already taught them the law or taught them the skills that they need. If you teach them the skill for following instructions and that it has 5 steps, which are to look at the person or the situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay, or ask to disagree appropriately, do the task immediately, then check back, now you have something to correct. Okay? Now you're not just going to be screaming about an attitude problem or something if they don't give you a good look when you tell them that they need to do the chore or whatever it is that you're instructing them to do. Now you can do a correction and talk to them about a calm face, or talk to them about disagreeing appropriately if it's something that they didn't want to do. You can now actually have exact pieces to correct because you taught them the exact pieces ahead of time. So I have a whole series of books. I'm not going to talk about those in this video, but I do have a whole series of books, children's books, that teach the 4 basic skills of self-government. I've got another series of children's books that teach all about calmness to children and how their brains work, those types of things. And so it really is beneficial to do some of that training with your children. But what I'd like to talk about with you is the book that the parents need. So you pre-teach ahead of time. That's good parenting. And then you follow through with the law and you do the corrections. Now here's something with a good correction. It should sound the same every time. The consequences should not be punitive or emotional. You shouldn't be trying to elicit a certain sort of emotion from your child. They don't have to feel emotional to learn cause and effect. That is a truth. They just need to see, I did this and now I have to accept this consequence for it. It doesn't have to feel emotional. They could even like it. You could say, for your extra chore, I need you to make cookies for everybody for family night, or I need you to read a story to your little brother. I mean, those aren't hard things. They're sometimes even enjoyable things, but it was something they didn't plan on, so it still was an extra chore and a negative consequence. I don't have time to go into all of the negative consequences and what's effective and what's not effective, but just to let you know that you need to be prepared. You need to know the words you'll say. You need to use them word for word, and your children need to know those words that you'll say. That decreases their anxiety because you have increased predictability, because everybody knows the same skills and they're on the same page as a family. And then also, the way that you feel, the tone is huge. So often we take things personally. Don't take your child's behavior personally. They're a child. They're never going to be perfect. That's not what childhood is about. They're learning. So don't take it personally. You need to recognize that that childhood behavior is a no answer to you. Yes, you need to handle it, but just say, well, I wish they behaved differently, but this is a no answer, and I have to learn how to accept this no answer in my life. Now, after you accept the no answer, that you have to take care of it, then you'll switch over to doing a correction, making sure that you honor that parental role and authority, because they need to learn to respect that and follow your teaching and example. And if you are a calm, deliberate, patient teacher, they're going to follow you. They absolutely will. Okay, so let's talk about books. I've written 15 books, but the book that probably is most people's favorite is this one. People call this the Bible of parenting. You can see it's not super tiny. It's called Parenting a House United. And this book this is the second edition. You definitely want to get the second edition. It's much more clear. It answers a lot more questions than the first edition had. But this will talk about how to set up your home environment so that you can be self-governed and not yelling. It will give you the exact words to say. So if you have a yelling habit, you've got to replace it with something else. You need a script. You need new words to say. You need new thoughts to have in your head. This book is going to give you that. It will also tell you exactly how to train your children so that they understand how to behave themselves and have calm voices and not yell, and be able to solve their problems too. There's 4 basic skills, 5 teaching styles, 3 meetings, there's problem-solving exercises, there's ways to fix the tone and the relationships in your family and in your home. There's information on calmness. I also have a whole other book on calmness called The Power of Calm, so you'll want to look for that as well. This book here, Parenting a House United, is the key piece to everything that I teach. Now, sure, there's other ways you can learn it. You can do audio. You can also do some intensive training and actually have practice with all the skills and troubleshoot certain things at some of our parenting mastery trainings. You can do an online course. I'll take you step by step through implementation of all the things in here. There's a lot of different ways to get the information, but at the very least, get this book. Read it. You'll probably want to tab it and highlight it because it's not fluffy. Come back to it again and again as a resource, just as you would other books that are helping you live your life in a better way. I'm Nicholeen Peck. This is the Teaching Self-Government channel. Self-government's possible for you and for them. I'd love to help you find out more. I have a free Calm Parenting Toolkit that you can access on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. Today, click on that link next, and I'll see you there.